Ji-Woon Hak, also known as the Trickster, or DBD's Dio Brando if you feel so inclined. Ji-Woon Hak was born in the toxic wasteland that is K-pop Twitter. That's a joke. Seriously, please don't kill me for that, that is a joke. But, unfortunately, the Trickster has released in a very questionable state. What we are going to do in this video is we are going to assess his kit, we're going to assess his power, and we're going to pinpoint his weaknesses and see how we can fix them. Keep in mind I am not behaviour, so these changes will not happen, these are just pure suggestions, and you will have to take them with a grain of salt. You have every reason to disagree with me, and I highly incline so. So let's check to see what his weaknesses are and how we can fix them. Let's go. Dio Brando, I mean the Trickster's power is called Showstopper. The TLDR is you take British knife crime to a whole new level, but somehow still make it inefficient. But in all seriousness, the Trickster's power allows him to throw up to 60 blades, requiring 8 to injure a survivor and to down them. You can actually throw a blade by holding right click and following up with a mouse 1. But if you're an impatient piece of shit like me, you hold down M1 and throw knives like it's absolutely no one's business. Though this isn't without its penalties. Doing so you become slower, and the Trickster kinda suffers from wanker's cramp, being unable to accurately throw his blades, causing artificial recoil to get faster and faster the more you throw your blades. If you hit enough blades, around 20 or so, you will gain access to main event, but only temporarily. You unleash the power of your stand and make you throw blades faster than you initially could. You slow down time to a halt so you can throw it super... Okay, enough of the JoJo jokes, you get the point. I'm not going to bring up the big numbers for this, but when you throw your blades, initially you throw it at 1.1 times, or bigger numbers is 1.1333, or 1.3, free. But when you go into main event, this increases it to a main whopping of 1 times 0.6667. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I'm terrible at maths. I'm fucking dog shit at it. I'm gonna say this right now. It may sound good on paper, but that's kind of a downside of main event. Literally all you get is an increase of throwing speed. If you're accurate with your blades, yes, you are going to down a survivor quickly, but when you add on the artificial recoil that exists, it actively hinders the Trickster in literally every aspect. Though here's the kicker, and this is the one decision that I will never understand as to why behavior made this, but when you use main event, your power is put on cooldown for 10 seconds, which means you cannot use your power that is already bad enough as is for 10 whole seconds. Sorry, behavior, how was this a good idea? We wanted a buff, not a nerf. Now that I've told you how the Trickster's power works and what it is, let's figure out the problems of this power and see where the flaws are. This is going to be very short and sweet and straight to the point. 8 knives, or in this case 16 knives, is far too much to down a survivor. You are forced into a position to commit to the chase you have engaged in, whether you like it or not, and if you have used knives or your power, it has been immediately made worthless. You have essentially wasted knives to commit to a chase that you probably should not have committed to. Thus, you are wasting a lot of time with this guy. Plus, the Trickster being 4.4 meters a second, or 110%, he's similar to that of me watching anime, a literal fucking slog. As for buffs, I would change his initial knives to down from 8 to 6, while making his main event harder to get. Remove that god-awful cooldown, the 10-second cooldown after it ends, and move it to when he switches between his blades and his bat, reducing it from 10 to 4 seconds. Main event naturally takes 20 charges or so to achieve, but for this buff, we'll be increasing it to 30 charges, meaning you have to hit 30 blades in order to gain access to main event. Now, main event will now be available rather than going away after 10 seconds, so it will now stay in your inventory to use at any time. When this main event is activated, your throw speed technically remains the same, but now it takes 4 knives rather than 6 to down a survivor. Though the stun you will take after main event ends is significantly increased. I don't have a number on that, unfortunately, but I would give you one. I'd say probably similar to that of DS's stun, 3 or 4 seconds, I don't know. After that, if main event is ended before getting the down, it will stay at 4 knives if the survivor has been hit. This incentivizes accuracy and makes main event even more rewarding to earn. The only benefit that it actually has originally is a faster throwing speed, which isn't even a benefit or a reward. Plus you have no control over the throwing, and it goes away after 10 seconds, which means its situational usage is very limited. You get 0 use out of it, so there's no reason for main event to even be used, because it's more detrimental to you. So this is my proposed buff. It's not anything too great, but it's more or less straight to the point. Keep in mind, I am not behavior. This is exponentially overpowered, but they could take the suggestion and turn it down over time. Though I highly recommend that they look into what the community has to say about this, because the Trickster really needs a buff at his current moment. He is incredibly underpowered and he is absolutely terrible to play. He is rewarding, but the reward is so minimal that playing him is basically asking to throw your game. So at the end of the day, I highly recommend people keep playing Trickster, so behavior will eventually gain the opinion of the killer and realize where the problems are. Because right now, this killer released in a really bad state and needs to be addressed. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I thank you for watching this video, even if it was kind of shit. So I'll see you all later. Thank you for watching. Bye.